Welcome again, guys, to our fourth episode here on Black Screen Finance. My name is Nikis.
My name is Ralph, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about debt management.
You guys who tuned in last week to our episode, we discussed money management. So we go over extensively and kind of broke down how we created and designed a budget sheet to help you guys with managing and tracking how you spend your money. So for this week, we wanted to follow up by going in depth into debt management.
Yeah, and we think that's something that it's really important, as we were doing our research, just to kind of see what the numbers really look like. Because we kind of have an idea that a lot of people are in debt, but what does that look like and how much debt are they actually in?
And then also too, not all debt is bad and not all credit is bad, right?
Yes.
So, that's why we wanted to kind of research and find, the hardcore numbers as to what's going on. What do you find?
Absolutely. So in the bad version of debt, right? So what we found was it $5,700 is what on average people owe on things like credit cards.
So that's just credit card. Yep.
That's huge. That's not counting your auto loans, so your cars. It's not counting if you have student loans. It's not counting mortgages.
Yep.
So that's a big hole to start in already, right? And what we found is, or we're going to talk about today, is some of the reasons as to why people get into that kind of trouble. So, what we found was that people get into that type of trouble because of, lack of knowledge when it comes to their personal finances.
And that's just the budget, just, structuring your budget and just having a better or a sound idea of where money is going and where money is coming from, kind of keep you on track with that piece.
Which you could get help with on the, the Blacc screen budget sheet.
Yeah.
Another reason as to why is because, people don't know how to manage their credit cards, which is huge. Have maybe either too many or just overspending on them. And the third piece is the emotional piece in terms of impulse buying. And the biggest thing is keeping up with the Joneses. That's super detrimental to you, So those are just some of the things that we're really going to talk about. So hopefully as we go through, you'll be able to, kind of see if some of those things apply to you, because we've found that applies to a lot of people, unfortunately. But you'll definitely be able to get a good glimpse of exactly why people get into that kind of trouble.
Yeah, definitely.
To falling into debt, the biggest thing that I've seen in my personal experience, and I'm sure you have also, Nikis, is the, keeping up with the Joneses is what gets people in trouble sometimes. And by that, I mean, basically, you feel like you have to spend the same thing that people around you spend because you're around them, right? So when it comes to my personal experiences, so again, I'm not cheap, I'm selective. So by that, what I mean is that I may not spend a bunch of money on clothes, big cars and things of that nature, but I do spend money when it comes to me going on vacations, because I feel like that part of my life is important. And because when I separate myself from work and the things that I do on a daily basis, I want to make sure that when I'm there, I have a good time, right? So I've seen it in personal experiences in the past where, not everyone may be on the same financial plane, and everybody's pockets are the same, but I've seen some people take it upon themselves to put themselves in trouble in situations where now, to keep up with the rest of us, they would, pull out the credit card and do things or make purchases that they may not be able to afford, instead of having a conversation prior to, just so that we all have the same understanding of the things that they can and cannot afford, which will then put yourself in a situation, in a financial burden, right? So that's one of the things that I personally see. How about you, Nikis?
Yeah, for me, I grew up, I grew up in Jamaica, and where credit cards and stuff is concerned, we weren't always privy, to that structure. So I grew up in the understanding that if you don't have the cash or the money to pay for something, you can't afford it, So I kind of grew up under that system. So for me, I had to learn that credit was also important, right? In America, it's important for you to have a credit, good credit,
100%.
Good credit history, that pretty much just shows that, it's trustworthy, for people to invest or for people to lend you money and stuff like that. So, I had to kind of come out of that mindset, became more open to like, okay, I'll put this on a credit card and stuff like that. But what I've seen is just abuse, right? And then also once you get into that trap where now you have a hefty balance or a balance that you can't get rid of,
out.
You're in that hold, right? Now people just continue to stay in that hole. They just try to, pay the bare minimum, and then they're not getting rid of the actual balance. They're literally just paying the interest.
Which means they're paying the bank, nothing else.
That you're just giving the bank free money. So
yep.
At the end of the day, it's just all about creating that balance, like Ralph said. Once you structure yourself from a financial standpoint using that budget sheet that we demonstrate to you guys, what that does is for your entertainment, you can always budget that accordingly. And then you can always scale back and scale forward, based on how your income is and your expenses are. And then also credit is not necessarily bad. Debt is not always bad. It just depends on what kind of debt it is, and
Absolutely.
then, that's things that we'll go into, deeper in the video as time goes on. But it's also important for you to just stay in your financial lane.
Absolutely.
There's
Absolutely.
levels to it, so at the end of the day, depend, where you are financially, just kind of, gauge and just try to stay in your lane. And then also just make sure you're putting work in. That way you can kind of increase, your network and increase your income. That way you can enjoy more stuff that you'd like to enjoy.
Absolutely. And by no means are we saying, not to go out, like you said, not to go out and just, do the things that you like. Or like for me, vacations are big for me, right? So if you're the type that you love sneakers or you love cars, just budget yourself in a situation where, or put yourself in a situation where that's affordable for you, right? So the money that I may spend on vacation, you might spend that doing whatever you enjoy.
You like. Yep.
You know what I mean? So by no means are we saying not to do the things that you like, but just to be, conscious about your finances and to be smart so that you're not putting yourself in a situation at the end of the month where, let's say now you spend that extra money now on, I don't know, the latest new pair of shoes that just came out that are really expensive. Now you may take that funds from things like your rent or your mortgage or things of that nature as well, which then again puts you in a bigger hole when it comes to debt, right? The bad version.
Thanks again for tuning in to the 4th episode of Black Screen Finance. We do enjoy, providing content to you guys. If you guys enjoy the content as much as we do, please
like, share, and smash the subscribe button. Help us grow the community. Again, guys, we really appreciate you. Peace.
All right.